I still don't know the basis on which Jimmy Akena is going to be challenging Mr. Museveni, because as you all know, Jimmy Akena stood for president in 2015, and the High Court ruled that the election that made him president was an irregular process. And so in 2020, September 7th, a Court of Appeal dismissed his application and asked for fresh elections. The idea of the fresh elections was that the party members should have the opportunity to engage in an open election process that would give them a new president. Jimmy Akena did not participate in that process. In fact, in any case, he went on to appeal to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court on October 13th, 2023, 2023, dismissed Jimmy Akena's appeal. So two things. One, Jimmy is not elected president of the party. Number two, Jimmy basically broke into Uganda House by chasing away Olaro Tunu, who was then president of Uganda People's Congress, granted regardless of whatever else was taking place at the time. On the basis of the Court of Appeal ruling of September 2020, fresh elections was held, granted, organized by Peter Walubiri, who himself had been appointed acting leader by Joseph Bosa. Joseph Bosa had been appointed leader by Olaro Tunu, who's our last democratically elected party president. As last democratically elected party president, one, he has the mandate to call the delegates conference, which he did not call, and so therefore Akena did not participate in that election. In any case, Akena organized his own election for himself, and where the High Court ruled against him, Court of Appeal ruled against him, Supreme Court has ruled against him. Joseph Bosa, who was Olaro Tunu's vice president, Olaro Tunu appointed him acting leader when Olaro Tunu was resigning, leaving the position of a party president. So Joseph Bosa had the mandate. And of course, Joseph Bosa, as you know, on his way to a medical treatment abroad, decided to hand over temporary leadership of the party to Peter Walubiri, and then unfortunately, Joseph Bosa died, in hospital abroad. That is where Peter Walubiri got the mandate, one, to lead the party, and two, on the basis of Court of Appeal ruling, to organize fresh elections. Those fresh elections were held, and there were four candidates for the purpose of your viewers. One, Peter Walubiri himself was a candidate. Number two, one, Dr. Dan Ochieno was candidate. And then Dr. Dixon Opul was candidate. And then one, Joseph Ochieno, who's myself, I was a candidate. We participated four candidates in those elections. Joseph Ochieno won those elections. The election results were fudged by Peter Walubiri and his Secretary General Isha Oto and Tom Omino. And then they went ahead and declared Peter Walubiri president. And on the 28th of December 2020, Peter Walubiri was sworn in as party president. Since that day until today, I asked, if you've seen Peter Walubiri anywhere, whether in Gomba, in Barara, in Bushenyi, in Iganga, in Gulu, as president of Uganda People's Congress or participating in former party elections, my advice to you is that you should report to the nearest police station. That hasn't happened. So Peter Walubiri has filed this process, and he has done it to my party something as criminal as what Mr. Museveni did in this country as prisoners. Likewise, Jimmy Akena, who is not elected leader of the party, takes over the leadership of Uganda House and the occupation of the party headquarters, gets a deal with Mr. Museveni in which in 2016 and 2021, he does not participate in the elections of a party president, although he claimed at the time that he was party president. So unfortunately, what we've done is we've let Uganda People's Congress, who's not had a president in the presidential elections since 2011. That sort of is the context. So in any case today, just to make an important final concluding remarks, even if Jimmy Akena says that he's going to stand for president, you can't stand for president of representing Uganda People's Congress unless you're the president. He's not the president. Number two, of course, Jimmy will make an argument that he held delegates conference in 2020. The delegates conference he held in 2020 was his delegates conference, and party had stayed that. So he doesn't have the mandate to be able to do so. But number two, the UPC constitution says you serve as president of the party for 2 terms. So if Jimmy indeed is party president, then he has served his 2 terms, in which case he does not have the right to stand as a candidate for UPC unless you call a delegates conference and they amend the party constitution. But likewise, side by side with that, even if he then goes ahead and argues that because the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal have ruled that he's not president, and so he's freshly presenting himself as a candidate for president. You can't say you're a candidate for president before the delegates conference endorses you, which delegates conference cannot be called by Jimmy Akena. It would have to be called by either Olaro Tunu or anybody Olaro Tunu gives the powers and authorities. And as I said, Olaro handed over that to Joseph Bosa. Bosa handed it to Peter Walobiri. Peter Walobiri organized elections, which I won. So technically, the person to call the delegates conference is Joseph Ochieno. So I've not done that, and I don't have the powers, and I don't even call myself president because I've not been inaugurated, and I don't want to call myself president because this is not about me. I'm Milton Obote's boy who believes in the constitutionalism for Uganda People's Congress, and as I said, also constitutionalism under the Republic of Uganda's constitution, and as somebody who seeks to build the Republic of Uganda as an exemplary republic for which people like your cameraman and you, the journalist interviewing me, as young people, you learn beautiful lessons from Uganda People's Congress rather than terrible bush lessons of unconstitutionalism as presented by Mr. Museveni, where even at the moment he dances in the streets of Kampala with his family, while at the same time busy beating up young Ugandans in legal detention camps in Machindi.
What is your